This time on Black Dog Garage, we're going to talk about how to tell if the battery on your lawn equipment is actually dead. If you're having trouble starting, slow crank, no crank, just clicking problems, how do you tell if it's actually a problem with the battery or if there's something else going on that's causing it? My mower here, sometimes especially in cold weather, has issues starting, so we're going to take a look at it and see if we actually need a battery or if there's another issue. All right, so in my zero turn here, the battery is under the seat. It could be somewhere next to the engine, under the hood, or under the seat of your power equipment. We're going to be using a basic multimeter like this. We're going to check the voltage of the battery itself. That's a good indicator of the battery's charge level. We're going to check to see if the battery is charging when the machine is running. And then we're also going to check to see if there is any kind of draw when the machine is turned off that could be causing the battery to drain, even though the battery is okay and it's getting charged when the machine is running. So first off, we're going to look for the positive and negative battery terminal. The negative is usually black. You can see a black wire here. Positive is usually red. You can see red here. The batteries are almost always marked 2, with a minus for the negative, and the plus is here. Probably hard to see, but right next to the battery terminal. So I'm going to set my voltmeter to voltage DC. Most voltmeters will have an AC setting that has the sine wave to it, and then a DC setting that has a solid line and a dash line. So we're going to go to the DC setting. See if I can put this in a location where you can see the meter and the battery at the same time. There we go. All right, so with the leads not touching anything, our meter should read almost 0. Kind of bouncing around a little bit, but it's basically 0. I'm going to put the negative right on the terminal of the battery, so not the clamp that's on the battery terminal, right on the terminal of the battery itself. That way, if there's any contact issues between the clamps and the battery, we can see that. So this battery is at 12.9 volts. This battery is actually a little bit overcharged because I had it on a battery charger to get this started the other day. Anything less than 12 is an issue with the battery, or either it's too just discharged or it's not holding its charge. It should be somewhere over 12, somewhere around 12.4 to 12.6 volts. So there's plenty of charge in this battery right now. While you're in here, it's always good to kind of do a visual inspection, look for any corrosion, look for any of these terminals that are loose. You should not be able to wiggle them back and forth on the battery. If none of that looks good, we can check to see if the battery is charging when the engine is running. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to start the engine and we're going to look for a change in voltage. So if we have 12.9 now while the engine is off, once we start the engine, we should be seeing somewhere over 13 because the engine is trying to put power back into the battery. So we should see somewhere over 13, 14, somewhere in that area. So I'll go ahead and start the engine and then we'll check the voltage again. All right, so the vibration of the engine knocked my camera out of position there, but I brought you back once it was running. It's a good idea to throttle up a little bit. Don't run all the way down at idle speed because the alternator is not doing its best charging, or the generator is not doing its best charging at low speed. So bring it up to a higher engine speed so you can see what's actually happening when the engine is at its normal operating speed. You can see there, this is putting out 15 volts, so there's plenty of charge going into this battery. So we know that there's plenty of charge going in. It's holding charge to some degree because there was a charge in it when I got here for having it on the charger. Last thing we're going to check is if there is any current, or if there's much current being drawn when the engine is off and it's just sitting with nothing happening. All right, so I loosened the negative battery cable. Usually want to take the negative battery cable off because if you hit the frame with your wrench as you're loosening it, because the negative's connected to the frame, it's not going to cause sparking and arcing issues. Now that we have the negative battery cable off, what we're going to do is we're going to turn our meter around to amperage DC. Okay, and we'll probably have to move this because the amperage is measured over on this side here. And then we're going to put, I'll try to put this so you guys can see it there. And this is with the key off, so nothing should be going on with a basic machine like this. There's no computers or anything. So there really should be very little current at all between the battery and the cable when it's disconnected. So with the the two disconnected, I'm going to put my my leads on the battery post and on the cable, and you can see that the meter is reading 0. There's no flow of current through here at all. So I'm not getting any kind of discharge when the battery is off or when the engine is off. If you see there is current going through there, if there's some kind of computer on the equipment, there might be a little bit of keep alive current or something to keep the memory going. So you might see just a couple milliamps. That would be normal. But on a simple piece of lawn equipment like this with no computers, no radios, no electronic equipment, there really shouldn't be any current flow at all. So I know that because the battery is not draining at all when the machine is off. I know the machine is charging the battery when it is running. That if I'm having issues with this battery going dead and the machine not starting, the problem is almost certainly the battery itself, because it's receiving the charge that it needs and it's not being discharged while the machine is not running. So hopefully that's helpful. Maybe it'll save you buying a battery if there's some other issue with your machine.